recorded. You can either turn your camera off or leave the meeting. And with that, Peggy's going to kick off our class.
Okay, just a minute. I guess I gotta hit continue here. Huh. I'm not sure how to do that. There we go, continue. Okay. Hi, my name is Peggy Munson, and I'm part of the Volunteer Advisory Council of AARP. And our council was headed up by Kathy, who's the community outreach person for AARP. Fred Turner, who's one of the co-hosts today, was on the committee. Betty Chatburn, Monica, and Diane. And what we did was, during the mayhem of COVID, we got together and thought, what can we do for the people of Idaho that are stuck in their houses? So we came up with this serious fun and adventure in Idaho guide. And I just want you to know, pushing through tough times is what AARP is all about. While the staffs are not in the office, they're still working from home. There's still very much that we can do for you. So anyway, Fred Turner is going to kick off our program today.
One of the first things you do in order to introduce yourself is unmute yourself on the Zoom camera. So I would like to welcome all of you to this session of the NKA. We're going to talk about a guide that we put together for serious fun and adventures, and it's mainly with locations in Idaho. There'll be a few outside, but we're going to concentrate the web addresses for everything within Idaho. And when Kathy sends you the complete guide, you'll be able to go to any one of those sites directly off of the guide. We've checked the web addresses on all of them to make sure they're good, and they are. There's a couple which I'll bring to your attention that you're not going to get a response to. For example, one of the things that we lost over the winter was the Bruno Dunes Observatory. You'll find that is under reconstruction, I guess, or construction. I don't know how you want to put it. But for years, it's been a functioning observatory as part of the Bruno Dunes State Park, which is part of the Idaho Park system. But it's under reconstruction, and at this point, we don't know how long it's going to be closed down. So just understand that you can still camp and play and scoot around the dunes at Bruno Dunes, south of Mountain Home. But at the same time, the observatory is going to be closed. But all of the other activities available at Bruno Dunes within the Idaho State Park system are available. So you still can go and camp there. You can still go and picnic there. You can still go and fish there and attend the classes that are offered regularly. Now, in order to start, what we're going to do, I want each of you in some fashion or another, if you could, to try and think of what you would do with the information you're going to get in today's presentation. We've done what we can to give you an opportunity to visit anywhere in the state of Idaho virtually. But what I did in preparing for this is I figured out, my God, I can't believe there are so many places in the state of Idaho that I haven't yet been. So as a result, I set down the objective of 3 places that I want to visit this spring, summer, or fall in Idaho that I've somehow or another overlooked. And every time I go in and look at something new, I find a new adventure that has to be ported. So my 3 adventures, and I hope you guys will, all of those of you who are attending will do the same thing as we go through here. You know, you'll be able to visit virtually all of these sites, find the sites that you want to go and visit. Some are within miles of Boise, Pocatello, northern Idaho. Some are further away. My three sites that I want to visit this year are the night sky. We're going to open up open our presentation with a visit to the Central Idaho Dark Sky Reserve. That's one of them I want to do. And then I want to visit the Trail of the Coeur d'Alenes. You know, the Trail of the Coeur d'Alenes is in northern Idaho, and I'd be darned if it doesn't start in Mullen, Idaho. That's where one of the mining capitals of northern Idaho happened to be in the early days, and it ends in Plummer, Idaho, which is the logging capital of northern Idaho. It's a 73-mile trek, but it's kind of fun. It's moderate in its course. Take your bike. Bicycles aren't available for rent there, but I'm going to show you a place here real soon where you can rent bikes, and that's called the Hiawatha Trail. I've been on the Hiawatha Trail, and it's as exciting as it gets. But the Trail of the Night Skies is the area in central Idaho. Basically, it starts up at Stanley and comes down to Sun Valley.
Fred, do you want me to show the presentation now, or tell me what you want?
You sure can. Can
Okay.
you do that for us, Kath?
Yeah, let me find it. Hold on.
Yeah, what we're going to do, gang, is we're going to go to that website so that each of you can see it on your screen now.
And so as we go through this guide, it's kind of color coded by the speakers, just so people know your guide will not be color coded. Okay, so here we go, Fred. You direct me what you want me to do.
Okay, now at the web address, Kathy, if you wouldn't mind, just go to the web address. There you go. Now the web address, gang, is the idahodarksky.org.
Can you see that, Fred?
I cannot.
Okay, then let me go find it. Hold on.
Okay, point there. You may have to use the control button. There it is. Has everybody, just nod your head if you can see Central Idaho Dark Sky Reserve.
And Fred, you have control now over it.
Thank you.
The
And what
website.
we're going to do here, gang, is we're going to go and we're going to visit the Idaho Dark Sky Reserve. And I'm going to drill down through their website just to show you the extent of what this entails. So at the home menu, I'm going to look and we'll drop down the area of, maybe we will, huh? Okay. Let's see what happens here. There it goes. Okay, now I'm going to go to the About the Reserve at this location. Then what I'll do is I'm going to drop down to the map location that's at the website. Now, all of you can do what I'm doing once you go to the website. You can do exactly what I'm doing. I'm going to look at the map for the Dark Sky Reserve. I'm going to click on the map to go full screen. And basically, gang, what you're seeing now, see, what you're seeing is the Dark Sky Reserve from down in Bellevue, Haley, Ketchum, Sun Valley, and then all the way up to Stanley. Now notice all of the locations. You've got lots of campgrounds, places to stay. I would warn you at this time, if you have an RV, recreational vehicle, regardless of type, tent, trailer, or motorhome, campsites are pretty at a premium, even already, but nonetheless, you can see all of the campsites are available. Now notice the little stars on your screen. The little stars on your screen identify the kiosk locations for the Dark Sky Reserve locations. So you want to stop at those kiosks and view the night sky. Well, you don't necessarily have to do it at night, although it identifies what you're looking at night. And of course, it better be a clear night, because if it's cloudy, you're not going to see the sky. But otherwise, you will see a beautiful array of the universe up there in the night sky. Now, you can do the very same thing during the day, because look where you are. You're right in the Sawtooth Mountain Range and up against the wilderness area up in central Idaho. So there's scenery galore. My goodness, you'll be surprised at what you're able to see. Okay, that's about all I have to say about the dark sky. So let me back out of this and give, shall we go right directly to the next entry, Kathy, or?
Yeah, Fred, let me take control of the screen really fast. So let's see, let's get out of this.
And
Let's see.
these
Click on
things,
stop share.
yeah. Okay. Are you there, Kat?
Yeah, Fred, let me just, my mouse is not working. Here we go, stop share. Okay.
Let me get
All right, so now we'll go back to the guide.
Okay.
There we
Okay.
go.
See, the
Okay.
neat,
Where's the next one?
Yeah, there you go. See, the neat thing of what we had done there, gang, was, now I'm referring to all of our participants as a gang, and I hope that's all right with everybody. But see, here's where we were going to talk about other opportunities to gaze at the universe and the stars. Now, needless to say, I've already mentioned to you folks that the observatory at Bruno Dunes is closed now because of the reconstruction of the telescopes and the buildings and things that are related to the observatory at Bruno Dunes, just south of Mount No. You don't necessarily have to go to Bruno Dunes to camp or stay there. Let me share just a brief little thing about Bruno Dunes, though, that I hope you'll enjoy. I was one of the caretakers down there for 2 summers, my wife and I, and we thoroughly enjoyed our stay down there, but you can get some pretty good storms down there at Bruno Dunes. And we were in our camper, and this one night, some little lady comes knocking at our door, and she said, I don't know what happened, but we put our tent up, and when the storm started, we got in our car because it was so bad. She said, that's the last time I saw my tent. It was on the way to Nevada. So we have lots of stories to share with being hosts at some of our Idaho state campgrounds. Now, the Craters of the Moon National Park, I think maybe you all might know it. It's a federal campground and park is what it basically is. Well done, and daily programs through May through September. And you know the neat thing about going to the Craters of the Moon, you can go there virtually, like you can see the address there in the bottom of the picture, you know, right there at Craters of the Moon National Monument. You can go there virtually and visit it, or 3 hours away via Fairview and off, you know, to the Four Corners, and then on over to the Craters of the Moon. In 3 hours, you can be there. And here again, we're just going to do this one very briefly. Go ahead, Kath, and give it to me. And here again at the Craters of the Moon, you've got the same kind of, see, there you go, the same kind of opportunity that you would otherwise to visit a national park, which it is, and find out the history. Say you can, and depending upon what it is you want to do with regard to visiting the park, either virtually like we are right now, or for real, you can lay out the plan of what it is you're going to do. You can go for a day, you can Yeah, actually, there's a nice campground there, but you've got to expect it to be very rough, simply because look what you're looking at with regard to the volcanic uh, foundation within the craters of the moon. And a lot of people don't know that some of the training that was done for the astronauts was done at the craters of the moon. So it's a neat place to visit, both virtually or for real. So have at it. It's really enjoyable. You can get there quite readily by just visiting it virtually. I'm going to give it back, Kath.
Okay.
There you go.
Okay, so the next one. There we go.
Okay, now the Trail of the Coeur d'Alenes, and again, that's kind of the interesting thing, because the Trail of the Idaho Trail of the Coeur d'Alenes is in northern Idaho, and as mentioned earlier, it runs from Mullen, Idaho, over to Plummer, Idaho, from the mining history of Idaho to the logging history of Idaho. But it's a neat, and I would call it moderate. What do I mean by moderate? You can take a bike and ride the whole thing and not end up too exhausted. But at the same time, you can enter the Trail of the Coeur d'Alenes at like 25 different sites. So you don't have to do the 75 or 80 mile length of the entire Trail of the Coeur d'Alenes all at one time. But you will see some of the most phenomenal Idaho scenery that there is to see, because you go from, as mentioned, mining capitals. Well, and as a matter of fact, if you've not been to the Cataldo Mission up off of Idaho or off of Interstate 90, the Trail of the Coeur d'Alene goes right through the Cataldo Mission and then heads south into more or less uncharted territory. The trail itself is asphalted the entire way. You don't have to fight brush, or you don't have to fight dirt or mud. You can ride the trail. If you're a skateboarder, you could do it with skateboards. I mean, it's that easy. And then moving on to the Hiawatha Trail, this is really something else. I hope some of you will try this. Let's do this one, Kathy. So what we'll do is we'll take a look at the website called ridethehiawatha.com. I want somebody to raise their hand and tell me what the Hiawatha was. Are there any hands showing? Well, it'd be pretty hard to show a hand as well. Let me try this. No, I don't think we're going to.
But you do have a hand. Gypsy Hall has. Fred.
Gypsy
Hall is raising her hand.
Is this by any chance the one that was the railroad for the mining?
Very good. That's exactly right, Gypsy. Good show. Absolutely the case. It basically, the Hiawatha line was the Milwaukee Road's all-electric line from the middle of Montana to the other side of Spokane. So it was an electric locomotive line, and the name of the train was the Hiawatha. So when the Milwaukee Road gave up the rail bed and gave it back to the state of Idaho through through everybody's cooperation, we ended up with the Hiawatha Trail. Now, as you guys can see if you look down through this, whoops, come on, there it goes. It's phenomenal scenery. And one of the things, now, if you can see past, I don't know if I can, here, let's do this. I'm going to try and open that one up so that you can see some of the girders and trestles that you will cross. Now, it won't let me do that. But anyway, okay, let's just let me go back here like this to the trail. Okay, we'll go back to the trail and see if it'll show us a trestle, because there are some of those trestles on this thing. Okay. Go through tunnels. See, there's a kiosk right there. And there's the tunnel that the train came through. Okay. Let me see if there isn't a trestle that you'll see here. And you have to cross it. There's one trestle. I wouldn't even begin to tell you how high above the ground it is, but nonetheless, you cover it with your bicycle, of course. And the neat thing about this is that with the trail, the Hiawatha Trail, look over here, it says rental bike. You don't need to take your bike up to Lookout Pass. Lookout Pass is right between Coeur d'Alene and Mullen, by the way, or Kellogg in northern Idaho. But nonetheless, right on the top of Lookout Pass, there is I guess a vendor is the best way of suggesting it, that rents bikes. You rent your bike, helmet, and all of the safety gear you're going to need, and take the trail all the way to the bottom. And I don't remember how far it is from top to bottom, but it's a pretty fair size. And anyway, it probably would tell you as you drill down into the trail. See, it tells you where to get off and where to get on. Anyway, the rental of bikes is relatively inexpensive, and the shuttle then brings you back to your car at the top of the Lookout Pass. So it's a unique adventure that each of you in your own way would share with yourself or a friend or a group. And you can do that. It opens up. There's a nice, if you want to look, we'll look real quick here at the schedule. It starts here pretty soon. Let's try buy tickets and rentals. See, it'll show us maybe. Let's try this one and see if it'll give us the dates that are available for rental. It's kind of neat. Here we go. See, it's not available in May. It opens over Memorial Day, as you can see, and then runs all the way through June, July, and into August. What an experience it really is. Your turn, Peg.
Okay, thank you, Fred. I'm just going to talk a bit about the Rails to Trail, the Weezer River Trail. And it is 84 miles long. It starts at Weezer, Idaho. There's also a guide that has been written by a Weezer native, Margaret Fuller, who's written a lot of books on Idaho. But anyway, this is a guide that can tell you where to stay. It's got everything from food to medical service to bike repair. Yeah. And the thing that's good about the Weezer River is that this can be used nearly all year long. So this was the rail bed that ran from Weezer to New Meadows. So when they discontinued the train, then a group of Weezer people got together and got a grant from the National Rails to Trail, and it took them several years to put this in place. But the thing about it is you can float the river, you can canoe, you can do some kayaking. That kind of ends when the river gets lower, like in August. I don't think you can do it, but you can hike it, bike it, you can ride a horse, and you can do some Nordic skiing in the winter. But this 84 miles passes through 4 small towns, starts down on East Forest and Weezer, goes to Midvale, Cambridge, and Council. And you can get on the trail at any point. And there's also generally shuttle services that are available that will like pick you up. But if you can get a hold of Margaret Fuller's book, if you would like to do the Rails to Trails in Weezer. The next thing I'm going to tell you briefly about is Idaho's historical cemeteries. NKA had a fabulous program about a man who visits all these cemeteries. interesting stories about each one of the persons, but there's 2 pioneer cemeteries in the state of Idaho. One is right over here on Warm Springs Avenue. And there's a pioneer cemetery up in Idaho City. There's also an old cemetery in Silver City. Morris Hill is a very interesting cemetery, a very old cemetery. And another one is the Fort Boise Cemetery. But it's very, very interesting to look at the captions on the tombstones. So I wish you would do that sometime because it's just fun. Okay, Fred's going to tell us about camping and RVing next.
Can I tell everyone a quick story about Idaho Pioneer Cemeteries? I took my dog to both of them, one in Silver City and one in Idaho City, and the dog like lost its mind, ran around crazy, and jumped over the fence.
Was he spooked?
He was spooked. Okay.
Oh, there's another pioneer cemetery in Cary, Idaho.
Yes, that came in through the chat, a pioneer
Good,
cemetery in
good,
Cary.
yeah.
And if people know of others, put them in the chat and we can read them out.
Weezer has an old pioneer cemetery too, but it isn't named Pioneer, but Weezer's a very, very old community and it has wonderful tombstones.
Channel 7 had a beautiful little piece on Ophir Cemetery. The Ophir Cemetery is that small cemetery right across from Hewlett-Packard here in Boise. They did a beautiful piece last week on that particular cemetery, how it came to be and who it's named after. So lots of opportunity. Now, on anything that Peggy and I, as well as Kathy, have said, if any of you would like to add to what we're talking about here or share some personal observation, please don't hesitate to, as a participant, raise your hand, and we would love to hear what you might like to say or add. Now, we obviously can't let 36 different people online, but nonetheless, if you'd like to add, be sure and do so, and Kathy will monitor that opportunity. Now, as we move into camping and RVing, what we thought is that, you know, about 60% of people who travel and stay locally have some kind of a recreational vehicle of some kind or another, or they're venturing into camping through some type of tent facility or whatever. And we thought what we'll do is we will just cover the extent that we can the RV and campgrounds available. Now, I've already mentioned to everybody or suggested to everybody, if you can make a reservation quite readily. Now, if you're going to look for week-long reservations, those are pretty well eaten up by now. But the short term, like 1 night, 2 night, are pretty nice to have, okay? Because you can get in and stay for a couple of nights and enjoy camping or RVing or, you know, just doing the things that you would do at a camping spot in Idaho. And the nice thing about that is Idaho State Parks and Recreation, I forget how many parks and recreational activity or locations we have, but somewhere around 20. And each of them has camping facilities. Some have electricity, some have water, some have sewer, some have all three to be used while you're in a camping mode. And the nice thing about some of these Idaho State Parks and Recreation camping facilities, for example, if you go to Bruno Dunes or if you go to 3 Island Crossing down by Glens Ferry, where where Peggy is from. And I had a day orientation by Peggy in in the cemetery at Glenn's Ferry. Believe me, it was really quite interesting. But nonetheless, Three Islands State Park is at Glenn's Ferry. Well, that along with Bruno Dunes, and there are several other campgrounds. And guess what? They do Monday through Thursday for seniors, because the pressure for use of the state park campgrounds is on the weekends by the families who recreate in the Idaho State Parks. Well, during the week, there's not nearly the pressure for the use of the campsites that there is on the weekends. So what the Idaho State Parks and Recreation people have done is on those parks, which I mentioned, kind of nice, they have discounted the nightly rate Monday through Thursday in half. So if it costs you $100 to go for 4 nights, it would only cost you $50 for 4 nights. Monday through Thursday at some of those parks. And by going to the website and drilling down at the website for the Idaho Parks and Recreation, you will find which parks that embody that kind of a philosophy. For example, now, don't expect to get into McCall's Ponderosa campground even at this late a date. It's probably totally booked. But nonetheless, 1 or 2 nights are probably available for your use. Okay, let's go back, Kath, to the, and so that everybody should be able to see here's Idaho Recreation, and we're talking about what you can do at Idaho Parks and Recreation. Least you forget, see, all of the federal and federal agencies likewise offer a campground facility or a park facility of some kind or another. And as you can see there on that screen, you can see that there are just oodles of areas that you can go from that are sponsored by everywhere from the U.S. Forest Service to the Bureau of Land Management, even down to, and whoops, let's do that again.
Fred, I just gave you control.
Oh, is that why I'm where we are then? See if you can take it back, Kath, because I have there. I'm going to give it it's back in your hands. Go back to the full sheet.
Yeah, Fred, where do you want, where do you want me to take you?
Right to our activity guide.
Okay, you should be able to see it. It's on right now. Let me stop share. Okay, let me go back. Are you seeing that, Fred?
I see it, Kathy.
Okay, Fred, do you see that? The activity guide?
There it is. Yeah, just go ahead and scroll down. See, we're through the, right there's good. Okay. There is good because see there are, just go up just a little bit, Kathy, for me. See, there's all the various, well, a little bit further. Right there is fine. Right there is fine. Now, what I want, how's our time looking, Kath? I don't have a watch.
It's 1:40 right now, Fred.
Okay. Let's go right here, Kathy, to the Idaho RV Campgrounds Association. And what we'll do is we'll go to their website, because what they have, there you go, what they have is a comprehensive mini guide, and it's just ideal for use. There it is. See in the right-hand column there, it says RV Idaho. That's the book. You may be able to see my copy that I use extensively. And one of the neat things about this book is not only does it cover all of the public facilities for camping and RVing, it also covers all of the commercial camping sites. And what it does for you is if you want, let's say you wanted to go down to Twin Falls or thereabouts, just about every commercially available RV or campground that's in the area would be listed within this RV Idaho book. And it gives you all of the facilities that are available for use of that campground or facility. Let me give you some examples here. It will tell you whether they have cabins available, whether they have full hookups, is LP gas available, is there a swimming pool? See, it tells you all of the various amenities that you might find at the various locations, whether it be commercial or public, or as we've been talking about, Idaho RV campgrounds. And the neat thing about this book that every RV enthusiast likes is the fact that inside its cover, which maybe you can or cannot see, I think you can probably see it, but we're not going to pinpoint anything within it. But the neat thing about it is, I love this because you can never be too far away from a dump station when you're RVing. And this book has all of the state recreational dump stations that you'll ever need. So if you're down there at Craters of the Moon doesn't have a dump station. Oh my God, what am I going to do? Well, guess what? Arco's not far away, and Arco has a number of dump stations in there in the book. Okay, Kath, let's go back. And what we'll do is, okay, now going just a bit further, gang, you'll find there's all the trails in Idaho that are available to you, whether you're interested in hiking, horseback riding, for example, down at Bruno Dunes. I hate to refer to Bruno Dunes all the time, but Bruno Dunes has a beautiful horse corral where you can unload your horse trailer and then just use your horse on the trails that are within the Bruno Dunes confines. But as you can see from this particular aspect of what we're looking at, any kind of trail, whether you want to go snowshoeing, whether you want to go cross-country skiing, downhill skiing, whatever it might be, snowmobiles, it doesn't matter. You can virtually go to any one of these sites and they're going to assist you in what it is you'd like to know about that particular location. Moving down a bit, okay, the Parks Passport is one of our favorite things. The Idaho Parks Passport, and I think you probably all heard about this already, that is a $10 add-on to your automobile or truck registration. You can't be without it. Just buy it each time you register your vehicle, because it allows you to go into any one of the state parks virtually without fee, because you've paid the $10 passport fee that allows you in without having to pay each time you enter one of the Idaho parks. For example, out at Meridian there, you know, I don't know how many times this summer you'll go out there and use the swim tube with your kids or grandkids, but if you have the Idaho passport, you enter any number of times because you've paid the fee to use it. Now, notice right below that is the passport star card. Beginning October 1st of 2022, you'll need the star card. Okay, that date, I can't tell you exactly when it's been extended to, but it has been extended. On your driver's license, you're going to need the star card to get on an airplane, go in a federal building, go in a state building, to do anything that it's kind of a registration, and you're going to have to do that or use a passport, one or the other. So that has to be done here in the immediate near future. So be thinking in those terms of getting that done. Sometime this year would probably be good. Like I say, I wish I knew what the extended date is. But that even to October 1st, 2022 is a year and a half away. So we've got plenty of time to do it if it wasn't changed, but I know that it has been changed. Moving on, Kath.
Right, did you want me to click on the parksandrec.idaho.gov site?
I don't think that, how's our time looking? I think we're
1:47.
okay. I think we're probably coming up against it. It looks like Peggy gets to do the next little section.
Actually, that's my section. Let me just quickly talk about, hold on, let me find it. And Fred, could you read the chat while I'm trying to do this? Let's see.
Say it again, Kath.
Oh, I was gonna say, like, could you, I'm gonna read some of the chat that's come in. So,
Okay.
yeah, so there's an opportunity for walking outdoor tours of art in Boise by the city of Boise, and there's the link right there. So that's another good thing to do to explore Idaho. It says, looks like many of these places to visit are geared for camping. Is there a website that shows hotel, motel, cabin, yurt located near those sites? Fred, that's a question for you.
And the answer to that is yes. Kathy, well, let me make sure my microphone's on. Yep. The answer to that is yes. And you simply will have to just go to that website. Let's say you wanted to go to the Idaho Historical Museum. You go to that website, and that website will tell you what's available in the immediate area for hotel, motel, cabin, et cetera. Now, the cabins and yurts, hotel, motel that's a punt. I mean, if you're in Boise, in Pocatello or Twin Falls or up north at Coeur d'Alene, you pretty much know that there's hotel, motel available. But the cabins and yurts are basically Idaho Parks and Recreation. You can rent cabins and you can get yurts rented likewise at Idaho Parks and Recreation. So if you're going, for example, like we were talking earlier about going up to the trail for the Coeur d'Alenes, you could go up there and find out where the nearest cabins, where the nearest yurts are located, and see if they're available for rental. So the answer to that is yes. Okay, next one says, are bus trips to any of these places available from Boise? You know, I don't think there are. There's a neat, but there is one neat little cruise that a lot of people are not aware of down at Thousand Springs, down where am I trying to say? Down by Homedale, not Homedale, but oh shucks, Senior Moment Gang.
Hagerman.
Anchorman.
Thank you, Kathy. Yeah, there's a neat little half-day cruise down there that is commercially available from the hot springs right down there at Hagerman, and they take you up and down the river, up and down the Snake River, and point out all of the various spring flows and water flows and so forth. And it's not unknown to a lot of folks, but easily available. But to get there, you're going to have to use your car to get there, because I'm not aware. Is anybody aware of any bus trips that would go?
I would ask Carmen Travel Agency.
I'll bet they'd know. Yeah. Thank you, Peg. That'd be a good one. Oh, and if you open up the chat box, everybody, you'll see the star card deadline now is May 3rd, 2023. Good. Whoever contributed that, thank you so much. We'll make that change in our book.
That's good.
And there's also Sun Valley Stages for some bus trips.
Yes.
That would be certainly a good place to try, I'm sure.
Yeah. Okay, so Fred, now I'm going to share, I don't know if everyone's aware of this, but it's the 511 Idaho Road Report. So if you are interested in taking any trip by car or RV, this is a great website to check out, and you click on the full feature version. And I'm only going to spend a second on this, but what this is like you can really check out the road conditions before you travel. I do this all the time if I'm driving in the winter. So like if you're going to, let's say you're going to Eastern Idaho and you want to know what the roads are like, you can click on these pictures and it will give you what the surface status is. And of course, I don't know why I can't see the camera there. Let's see if we can see the camera. So, and then you can see what the road looks like, what the traffic looks like, live views of things. So I always thought that was an important thing. And also if you're looking at like road construction or any kind of delay or rock slides, this will tell you what's going on. And then you can of course get a live view of what they're talking about. So we just wanted to let people know about that. The 511 Idaho Road Report, we think is a good thing for people when you go out and have your Idaho adventures. Now we're going to go back to the presentation, and I think Fred, you are up again on virtual Idaho tours. Fred, you are muted. Let's see, Fred, you are muted. Let's see.
It works better if you can hear me, but it's probably the premier site for Idaho information. So in opening this site, Kathy, this is a site that is sponsored by the state of Idaho and maintained by the state of Idaho, and it has everything that you would ever want to know or do in the state of Idaho. You can request information, you can visit this site virtually, you can request information from this site. As you can see, as Kathy's moving up and down, there's all of the motels and hotels by city, by location. Just lots and lots of good places to visit and places to stay. It just has a plethora of things that you may want to use. Now, I'm going, Kathy, if you go over here to Maps and Guides and open that critter. See, now there's a trestle on the Hiawatha Trail. So you can see people crossing the trestle on their bicycles, and you can see how high above the ground. That thing that train, I don't know how many times I had the good fortune of being able to travel from Butte, Montana, where I was born and raised, to Seattle on the Milwaukee Road, but it was always a phenomenal trip. And as you can see, it make you a little jittery at the height you're looking at, but nonetheless, the point of these maps and guides is that, see, look at, there's that RV Idaho booklet that I mentioned to you a little bit earlier. Over here is the state of Idaho roadmap. Again, these are all things that you can request at this site, and they'll mail them to you directly. The one I love, let me see if I can locate it for you. Yeah, there it is. Let's just move this up just a tad, like this right here. Oh man, see that Idaho roadside up there? See, there it is right there, Idaho roadside book. This is unbelievable because what they have, somebody has gone and just simply put together, I'm just reading directly, Idaho's scenic, historic, and backcountry byways. And these, it has a plethora of day trips, daily trips, 3 and 4 day trips, maps, locations, all of the things that you would ever really want to know about visiting and traveling in Idaho. And as I mentioned to you as we started our program, I have 3 plans or 3 programs that I want to do this summer, or spring, summer. I'm using that booklet as my guide to make sure that I get through, for example, the Dark Sky Reserve in Ketchum, Sun Valley, and up to Stanley, and then going up north to do the Trail of the Coeur d'Alenes. So it's just a great tool for you to use in your planning adventure. The Idaho Association of Museums is next, Kath.
Okay.
And they have a wonderful, and there again, there's your website, the idahomuseums.org. And how many museums are there in the state of Idaho? Oh, 4 or 5? Wrong, 48. Isn't that amazing? 48 different museums in the state of Idaho, and they're all covered at that website for the idahomuseums.org. And they likewise will send you their booklet. Yeah, booklet's a little hard. Let's call it a pamphlet on the Idaho museums, all the way from Montpelier. There's a little museum over in Montpelier that you would love to see. All the way up to and including the Idaho State Historical Museum, downtown Boise. Now, any of the library or historical society stuff that you would like to get your hands on, you can get your hands on it, well, virtually by going to the websites. But if you would like to gather up and get the information in a hardcore or paper environment, you can get it right down there at the State Historical Museum in Park downtown. I hope some of you, and I hope, by golly, you've all been up to the historical site, the Oregon Historical Site, just east of town here, where you can actually view and see the kiosk, the overlook of Boise Valley, the overlook of Boise, and look at the trail routes that were made by people on the Oregon Trail when they came through here, 1850? I guess that would be 150 years ago, no matter how you look at it, huh? Okay, Kath, I think we're there.
Okay, so I think it's now Peggy's turn, and also the class, we had to reschedule it, so it was scheduled to end at 2:30 today, but I don't think we're going to go till 2:30 today. But Peggy's up next.
if you like drive-in theaters, there's a beautiful one over at Parma, Idaho, just on the other side of Caldwell. It's been owned by the Dobbs family since 1953 when Karen's dad built it. But they're up to date on everything, and they have a fantastic snack bar. And I just looked at the schedule, and Karen's going to be opening the Parma Drive-In Theater this month, really soon. But it's fantastic to go over there. The screen is good. The hearing the sound is wonderful, but I would encourage you, if you like those, to go over there. Okay. And the other thing I'm briefly going to touch on, the National Gallery of Art, the Louvre in Paris, the Guggenheim Museum, and the Smithsonian in DC, the British Museum in London, the Metropolitan Museum of Art in New York City, and even NASA has 3 virtual tours. But you can go on the link to these museums and you can view things that you would like to see. I went on there last night to 3 different ones, and it was really fantastic. Do you want me to go into rock painting or not, Kathy? Do we have time?
No, and that would be the last one. But I just wanted to say, like, when we were coming up with things to do while we were at home, we thought you can do this in Idaho, but visit the world from your own seat in Idaho. But this is,
absolutely.
We're trying to think of things we could do around the neighborhood while you're at home, having fun and adventure. So this will be the last one. Let me spotlight you, Peggy. Hold on.
Okay.
Okay, now you're back.
So I have a neighbor that does these, and she paints them. They're with acrylic paints, and she puts them by everybody's mailbox or by your door or something like that, and you get to keep them. And she was going to teach this at an NKA class, but we had to cancel it. But just to know, you can just use things around the house to paint these with. The black ones she spray paints, but this is really cute. There's not a rock in her yard, my yard, or my neighbor's that isn't painted. And here's another one that they did. And they did this with acrylic paints, not expensive ones at all. And they used the end of an eraser for the larger parts and the end of a wooden skewer like this for the small dots. But if you want to do something fun and leave a little gift for your neighbor or just make them for yourself, these are fun to do. Okay.
All right, well, that concludes, let me get you off your spotlight, Peggy, hold on. Let's see how to even do that. So that concludes our program. You're going to be getting a copy of the guide that's going to have ideas of things you can do in, indoors and outdoors in Idaho. And we also wanted to know if people had any questions. And I did put the link to the Idaho Travel Road Report into the chat for people.
Is there any questions?
Okay, well, we hope that you all will get to go out and explore. Like Fred said, it seems like the whole world is trying to get in at the same time now. So yeah, there's a lot of issues with that, but there's so many wonderful things to see in Idaho.
Kathy, I was going to say one more thing. If you're a fan of Idaho Public Television, the Outdoors program with Bruce Reichert is fabulous. And you get to see all these parts, these beautiful parts of Idaho. And that might interest you in going to some of the places that Bruce has had on his programs. But it just shows what a beautiful and versatile state we live in, from high desert to very high mountains. So enjoy the wonderful state that you live in.
Okay, well then thanks everybody. If you we hope you had a nice time, and we hope to see you out in Idaho. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Take care.
All right, thank you very much.
Two.
Fun.
Okay. So I guess we can leave now.
Yep, I'm gonna end the meeting. Bye-bye.
Okay. All right. Bye-bye.